Why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala create the heavens and the earth? The reason is misfortune, misery, pain, distress. You would think these are things against you. But in the Arabic language, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said He is the one who has created the 7 heavens and the earth likewise. And the command descends between the heavens and the earth. But why? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answers this question. لِتَعْلَمُوا أَنَّ اللَّهَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ وَأَنَّ اللَّهَ قَدْ أَحَاطَ بِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ عِلْمًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, so that you may know that He is the most capable over all things, and that so you may know that Allah subhanahu, He has knowledge over everything. But why did Allah subhanahu create the heavens and the earth and send down commands? So that we may know He is the most capable over every single thing. The reason is that man's disbelief stems from the idea that Allah subhanahu is not capable over all things. The polytheists in the time of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam disbelieved in the afterlife because they believed Allah was not able to bring people back to life. They said, how could God bring life from bones that become scattered dust? The atheist disbelieves in a God because he cannot see how God can create a just system in this world. So he commits kufr. Polytheists cannot see that God can directly forgive sin. So they go through saints and dead bodies. So disbelief stems from our limitation in our minds that God is not the most capable over everything. Sometimes we as human beings, we take our limitations and we superimpose them upon Allah, the creator of the universe. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about a community where He sent 2 messengers to them with guidance and revelation. You can imagine the fierce resistance of this community because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent 2 messengers to them. This community continued their rejection. And so then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, فَعَزَّزْنَا بِثَالِثٍ. And so Allah said, then we reinforced those 2 messengers by sending a 3rd messenger. Now you have 3 messengers for 1 community. How amazing is that? Yet rejection, resistance, denial continued. Then Allah subhanahu Jalla wa ala said, وَجَاءَ مِنْ أَقْصَى الْمَدِينَةِ رَجُلٌ يَسْعَى قَالَ يَا قَوْمِ اتَّبِعُوا الْمُرْسَلِينَ. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, then from the farthest end of the city, a man came running and said, oh my people, follow these messengers. Sometimes when we're engaged in trying to accomplish something and we're building a company or we're building a community or we're building a family, sometimes we think the support will just come from those around us. This is the limited mindset. Here Allah is showing us that despite them having 3 messengers, support came from the farthest end of the city. So if a person understands that Allah is Al-Wasi', he will never think that it's a failure if support doesn't come from the people around him. If one is mindful of Allah, no matter what mission you're trying to accomplish, Allah will make a way out for you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala instructs His believers to have this kind of mindset where we look at the bigger picture, where we abandon tunnel vision. When He instructs us subhanahu to say, قُلْ لَن يُصِيبَنَا إِلَّا مَا كَتَبَ اللَّهُ لَنَا هُوَ مَوْلَانَا. Allah tells us to say, nothing will befall us of calamities of distress, of pain, of grief, of misfortune, of loss. Nothing will befall us except that Allah has destined that for us. Huwa Mawlana, He is our protector. Now the interesting point here is that in the Arabic language, Allah here said, Kataba Allahu lana, instructed us to say lana, Kataba Allahu lana, and not Kataba Allahu alayna. You would think the translation would be whatever Allah has destined against us. Misfortune, misery, pain, distress. You would think these are things against you. But in the Arabic language, Allah didn't say Kataba Allahu alayna, these things are written against us. Allah said Kataba Allahu lana, that these things are written for us, meaning they have a benefit for us. Allah's training our minds to look at the grand calculus and not at one episode in our life, to zoom out, to widen our horizons. And this is why when they slandered the wife of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Aisha radiallahu anha, Allah subhanahu revealed, لا تحسبوه شرا لكم بل هو خير لكم. The believers were distressed with false news. Allah revealed and said, don't think that this is bad for you. Rather, this is good for you. How is it good? That event identified and distinguished the community builders from the community destroyers. It exposed them. That's a huge benefit to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You think about the grand calculus. That $100,000 that you lost in that investment, that person who slandered you, that injury that you got, there's no point for thinking about Allah in a bad way ever, because in 1,000,000 years it won't matter. In 500 years it won't matter. In 1,000,000 years, when someone is in Jannah, in paradise, do you think that they'll be thinking about the $500,000 they lost in this world? Do you think they'll be thinking about that terrible pain they got because of someone's doings or sayings? And even if someone was to go to the hellfire, with all the pain in the hellfire, do you really think they're going to be thinking about the pain in this world? No one's going to think about the pain in this world. So no one's going to think about the pain, the distress, and the grief, and the problems of this world if they're in paradise or if they're in the hellfire. So there's no point to be infatuated and obsessed by these matters in this world if we think about the grand calculus. And if we remember Allah is Al-Wasi', infinite, the boundless, the bountiful, the most capable over everything.